Okay, WWE, everybody, let's talk for a moment. Just gonna do this real quickly. Now, I didn't watch Hell in a Cell. I'll probably catch the replay on the WWE Network, but I followed what people had to say on Twitter. And question: when it comes to the ending of Hell in a Cell, basically in my backyard in Sacramento. Question. And I say this with no offense. But what the hell was that? Seriously, what the hell was that? I mean, I get you want to give the Fiend, Bray Wyatt, a unique kind of gimmicky kind of setting for specialty matches that he'll be involved in. I get that. You want to give him that specialty match kind of feeling and environment, especially when it comes to things like Hell in a Cell. But one, it's bad enough that for the second year in a row you have the cell freaking red. So to add on red lighting on top of that's even worse. What the hell was that? And then on top of that, this is what really pissed fans off. But I hate to say it, I was right. I knew it wasn't going to happen. I mean, I said in my audio video, I want to be wrong. I want to be wrong, and I did. For once in my life, I wanted to be wrong because you have literal, and I said it in my audio video, WWE had money. Because that's what Vince cared about. He cared about the money. They had money, ticket selling money right in front of their hands with Fiend versus Brock at Survivor Series. Champion versus champion, but nope. What I felt was going to happen, happened. I said Bray was going to walk out with the title, and I was right. Why? Because it's freaking Hell in a Cell. It's not Survivor Series. It's not Royal Rumble. It's not Night of Champions. It's not WrestleMania. It's not even Money in the Bank. It's Hell in a Cell. It's a freaking in-your-house show. Because again, I hate to reiterate myself when I say this, and I know people will agree with me and may not agree with me, but every other pay-per-view, with the exception of Survivor Series, with the exception of Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, Money in the Bank, and SummerSlam, every other pay-per-view, including the freaking ones they do in Saudi Arabia, and sometimes down under in Australia, those are freaking in-your-house events. That's what they are. You could probably say, well, the stuff they do in Saudi and in Australia are mostly live events. They treat them like such sometimes. Okay, maybe those two would be the exceptions of being live events, being treated and placed on a pedestal as being big time events. Whatever. But put those aside. The crown jewels, the super showdowns and all that, you put those aside, and every other pay-per-view besides the 5 that I mentioned, the big 5 as of right now, are nothing but in-your-house events. All you have to do is add in the in-your-house name. It's Hell in a Cell, in your house. It's TLC, tables, ladders, and chairs, in your house. It's Elimination Chamber, in your house. It's Backlash, in your house, which originally it was started as. Point is, history has proven for the past 20-something years, and correct me if I'm wrong, and maybe I'm wrong in a few of them, but most of those in-your-house events, most of them, a majority of them, the champion has never lost the WWE Championship. Excuse me for a sec. Just checking something there real quickly. Just checking on my dog. I thought I heard something. Anyway, like I said, history has proven that with other championships being the exception, the WWE Championship, as far as the WWE Champion is concerned, at those kind of events, never really changed hands that much. So what made you think that Seth Rollins was going to lose the Universal Championship tonight? Because on top of that, they already had a freaking championship change on SmackDown, much to the dismay and predictability, but dismay of many fans. Do you think they're going to give another one about 48 hours later? No. They're not. I think by now a lot of us should understand that if it's not a big 5 pay-per-view, and it's mostly a B-level in-your-house like event, and it could be, and it can have gimmicks. These in-your-house events have had gimmicks in the past. Buried Alive was one of them. But unless it's a big 5 pay-per-view, it's not going to matter. It's not. It's not going to matter whatsoever. And you got to think basically what the Fox executives might have thought. And think about it that way too. People speculate, from JD from NY206, myself through a super chat to Delexman, many folks have speculated that Fox may have had something to do with Brock beating Kofi the way he did, and then focusing their attention on him and Velasquez, right? What if Seth Rollins could be taking the Universal Championship to SmackDown in exchange for Brock taking the WWE Championship to Raw? Do you think the Fox executives want Bray Wyatt on SmackDown as the Universal Champion? After that little picture that's going around of them looking in confusion during the Firefly Funhouse segment? No! They don't want someone that's like, what the heck is this guy? This ain't sports. This ain't wrestling. This isn't MMA. No. They want a champion. They want someone like Seth Rollins that's like, now that's a real pro wrestler we can get behind. That's what they want. I don't know, folks. I mean, there's rumors that Becky is going to end up on SmackDown. Probably Seth is going to be with her. But how's that happening since Becky's the women's champion on Raw? And then on top of everything that I just mentioned, the finish is what's really gotten under a lot of people's skin. You think people are upset about the 8-second jobbing out of Kofi, possibly at the hands of Brock Lesnar, possibly on the orders of the Fox executives? How do you think they felt about this no DQ finish inside a freaking Hell in a Cell? What was it? Seth went too far on the Fiend, so the referee had no choice but to disqualify him. What? Because the Fiend was defenseless, from what I saw. And then on top of that, because you gave fans such a crapped out, book yourself in a corner kind of finish, what do the fans in the arena and probably the fans at home do? They chant 3 things. Boring, well, not boring, but bullshit, restart the match, and all Elite Wrestling AEW. That's what they chant. They chant AEW, AEW, and restart match, restart match, restart match, and bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. Because they wanted to see a title change tonight. They look at this Fiend persona of Bray Wyatt's, and they look at a guy that could be booked as a monster. I mean, think about it this way. Good comparison would be, Goldberg in WCW. For a majority of his run, he was booked as a monster. Nobody beat him. Nobody beat him, and he became an undefeated world champion, the first ever. So, so that's what fans wanted. They wanted a Fiend. They wanted this Fiend persona of Bray Wyatt's to be treated as such. He's unstoppable. He's menacing. You've done all kinds of crap on him. Let him walk out with the championship. Basically walking out, despite everything you've thrown at him, unscathed, like it's nothing. Like nothing really affect him. Treat him like the monster he's supposed to be. And you have Seth Rollins in storyline being like, great, now what do I do? And WWE and storyline going great. Like, now what do we do? But you didn't want to do that, did you? You didn't want to do that. Why? Either you didn't want to upset Becky, or Vince McMahon still doesn't see Bray Wyatt as a main event player. And then on top of that, to try to salvage yourself, I guess the referee or Seth tells Bray, stick him with the mandible claw. Or either they planned to do that already because they knew fans would probably turn on this match and turn on the ending. And they probably told him, or they probably I don't know, maybe they whispered in the ear for Bray to put his hand in Seth's mouth and to pop the blood vessel, whatever pill that they have in there, to make it look like he's bleeding eternally from the mouth of Bray sticking the mandible claw in him to end the show. It's like, WWE, you booked yourselves, because basically somebody said it best on Twitter. WWE booked themselves in a corner where they didn't want to see either man lose, so you go with a dumb finish like this. And look, I said, like I mentioned at the beginning, I said that I had a feeling Bray wasn't going to walk out with this championship because it was Hell in a Cell and not any of the major 5 pay-per-views. And I was right. I was right about that, but I wanted to be wrong. You heard me in the audio video. I wanted to be wrong. Was I wrong? No, I wasn't. Was I right? Yes. I think we need to accept the fact that unless it's a big 5 pay-per-view, Rumble, Survivor Series, SummerSlam, WrestleMania, Money in the Bank, we're not going to see someone like Bray Wyatt as The Fiend become WWE Champion. As a matter of fact, let me kind of tell you where we may see it. Survivor Series. Yeah, we'll see it at Survivor Series. You know why? Because, gee, where did Undertaker, when he went on the year-long undefeated streak he was on, where did he win the WWE Championship from Hulk Hogan from? Survivor Series. What was happening according to Taker and Hogan and all of them at that time? Fans were getting behind Taker and starting to turn on Hogan. They wanted change. They got that change at Survivor Series 1991. Kind of. Because the reign didn't last but not even a week. But case in point. But the case in point, fact of the matter is this. If you expect Fiend to get the belt, I said he's going to get it and he will before this year is out. Do not be surprised if it's either not at TLC, which is another in-your-house event. Don't be surprised if it happens at Survivor Series to coincide almost simultaneously as to when The Undertaker won his championship for the first time. Don't be surprised if Bray wins the Universal Championship for the first time there. Don't be surprised. I am not lying to you on that. I'm not lying, but I'm not saying I'm not saying I see it happening, but don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if it occurs. Because you know why? WWE has to make up for what they did tonight. And if you want to build towards Wyatt and Taker at WrestleMania, having Bray Wyatt win his first Universal Championship, The Fiend winning his first Universal Championship at Survivor Series, the same event that basically 28 years ago, or 28 years earlier, Undertaker won his first WWE Championship at, makes a lot of sense if you're going in that direction. But honestly, I called it. I was right. I didn't want to be right. And all I can say is this. WWE, I hope after the draft is over, that you learn that next time you book a match like this, that don't be afraid to pull the trigger on the person that fans want to see as the champion. That's all I'm going to say. Let me know what you guys think. I'll talk to you later.